Hey guys, welcome to Out of Spec Reviews. Today we are doing our typical 70 mile per hour highway MPG efficiency test with this C8 Corvette. Now, I'm going to go through all the test procedures in a moment, but I can't wait to see what kind of fuel economy the Corvette sports car gets. I imagine it'll actually be pretty good. We'll find out. So this is the $85,000 LT3 with Z51 pack Corvette. It has every available option, even has some Michelin snow tires because yes, it's cold. It's about 36 degrees here in Colorado. So what we're gonna do, of course, is we'll run through the tests, but take a look at this car. It looks really neat. It's 85 grand, I think, is the exact sticker, 85,300. Look at the interior as well. Really super neat in there. This one is a convertible. We are going to be running it with the roof up, but it certainly is nice to drive with the roof down. If you're interested in more about the Corvette, we have tons of videos coming out and even written reviews on our site, outofspecstudios.com, where we have tons of reviews. This particular video is just about the efficiency though. So let's go see what kind of fuel economy you can expect to get in the real world in a Chevrolet C8 Corvette in the wintertime in Colorado with a little bit of side wind. You guys know how we run our tests. We do not trust the internal MPG calculator. What we do is we fill up the tanks all the way, let the tank settle for 30 seconds, and then go until it clicks so we know the tank is full. We then run our loop all the way from here in northern Colorado up to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and back here to Colorado. It's about 70 miles, just under. And then we fill up the car to see how much fuel we've used. Now, the tire pressures are all set to manufacturer rating. This car is on snow tires, not summer tires, so that'll be interesting. It's also cold outside, right around 38 degrees today. So, how will the Corvette do on the highway? We have a little bit of crosswind, about a 5 mile per hour crosswind. That should take about a half a mile per gallon, advantage or disadvantage, I should say. We should add about a half, but we won't. And so now let's just get it filled up all the way. We're gonna fill it up with, of course, 91 octane. Now, I'm curious what you guys think. Some scientists have commented on our range test post that we actually will get artificially a little bit better MPG tests here at altitude. And part of that is because our air is less dense. And part of that is because, who knows, maybe just a better burn efficiency. I'm not really totally sure. It's why we also have 85 octane here in Colorado because of the altitude. Again, we're over 5,000 feet of elevation. So we're just filling it up all the way. We're gonna let it settle after 30 seconds and then we're gonna jump onto the highway right over here. Let's see what it'll do. All right, we are in the Corvette now. So test procedures, no heated seats, sorry. Tijmen, our videographer, he and I both love it. We do have the Starbucks. So no heated seats. We're letting the car stay off for now. We're going to keep an eye on the trip log, do our loop. Now, we've already tested the GPS speed on this car where indicated 70 miles per hour on the car because we run our tests at 70 accurate speed was what, 68 GPS accurate? So it reads 2 over or just about. So we're going to run our test on the way to Cheyenne at 71 miles per hour. And then we're going to run 72 miles per hour on the way back. And that will get us an average of 70 miles per hour. So without further ado, I think we get this thing started up. We're going to run the car in Tour mode where there's no eco mode. It's Tour Sport Track. And then there's also a weather setting, but we're not going to use that. It's a nice day out here, just a little bit of wind. So we're going to run Tour mode, gentle ease onto the highway, and then we'll loop back here and see what kind of economy we get. I predict about 30 miles per gallon. What do you think?
Yeah, I was saying 32, but 32. That depends if the car goes into V4 mode.
Oh, we should talk about that. Yeah, so just like Chevrolets have done forever, this car also switches into 4-cylinder mode under light acceleration. Now, I've only driven the car on the highway about 7 miles to get it here and I did not see it go into 4-cylinder mode. It definitely does around town though, right, when you're just cruising. So I think we've averaged what, 10.8 miles per gallon over the last 430 miles. I don't know what you were doing with this thing. But what we're going to do now is see if we can get that number up, and I'm really curious here. So let's do it. Let's go. All right, I think we're good to go. So start button, into drive. We're going to run again, no heated seats, temperature somewhere around 68 to 70 degrees. And we are going to put it not in sport, but in tour mode. There we go. It's a little laggy actually, this whole display, like takes a second. And off we go then, our typical route. I don't know. this will be interesting to see what it can do. Let's take a look just to make sure our trip odometer, we know the route of the loop that we're taking, but 450.3 miles. We'll see what we return with. So off we go then on our little MPG loop up on I-25 heading north to Cheyenne. Really nice day outside, 36 degrees right now indicated. This is part of our cold weather range test series. Anything under, let's say 45, 50 degrees, we put in our cold weather range tests. Not range test, cold weather MPG tests. I'm so used to doing EVs. Really curious to see how this car does. I bet it will surprise us. I don't think too many people have MPG tested the Corvette. What do you think?
I doubt anyone has ever done that.
Yeah, everyone's just shredding them around the track.
Exactly.
And yeah, I'm curious to see what it'll do here in our little standardized test. I bet it'll do pretty well. Off we go then. Gentle accelerations onto the highway. We're going to leave the car in automatic mode. It's going to do all the shifting for us. As soon as we get up to speed, we're going to run 71 miles per hour indicated on cruise control up to Cheyenne, and then once we reach our turnaround point, we will run 72 miles per hour on the way back. We're already in 7th gear, still accelerating up the hill. We'll get up to about 71, right? So cruise control on, and let's just get it set at, if I can figure out, there we go, 71 mile per hour on the cruise. And we're set under the speed limit. We have 201 miles predicted on our full tank of fuel, and it's a big tank. I don't really know the number, but definitely close to 20 gallons, right, Tijmen? Something like this. And that's just because it's averaged 10.9 miles per gallon right here over the last 452 miles. Feels so weird going 71 miles per hour in a Corvette. This is something that loves to be wrung out to redline. Sounds really meaty when you get on it. Transmission is ultra crisp. Definitely check out our other videos on this car where we drive it in more of a proper setting. But this is an interesting place to spend time with on the highway because it's actually extremely noisy in here. And also, the roof is leaking. I think Tijmen and Liam brought it to the car wash yesterday, and water started pouring in the car from the seams. This whole roof mechanism is leaking air. It's really quite loud in here from a road noise perspective and also a ride comfort. Now, this particular car does have the Z51 performance package, which is giving it a different suspension, better brakes. So it is to be expected that it doesn't ride super supple on the highway. That's not the point of this car, but certainly something to think about if you're planning on doing a ton of miles is definitely make sure you're comfortable with the amount of road noise that makes its way into the cabin here. A lot of it could be down to the tire selection of being winter tires. They're Michelin Sport Alpine something or others, and really good tires, but definitely quite noisy, I would say. And other than that, though, tracks really nicely on the highway. The car is fun to drive on a back road, very capable vehicle. But a lot of Corvette owners are going to road trip their cars, so this will be an interesting test to see how it does on the highway. You can see now the Corvette is in V8 mode. It's switching between V8 and V4 depending on the load. Here we have a little bit of a downhill, so yep, it just switched into V4. And what a neat solution that is. It's been technology for 20 years GM's been using, but I wonder how much this will help it in our fuel economy test. Just cruising along here at 71 miles an hour. The car has a pretty hard time maintaining exactly 71. Electric cars, I think we're used to them just staying dead on because they can regen and then they can output more power. But you can see here we have the cruise set at 71. Sometimes it goes 70, sometimes it goes 72. Hard to say, but we're near as makes no difference right at 70. I'm sure it'll average out. And then on the way back, of course, we're going to run 72 miles per hour. Up here, we're going to be passing the Buffalo on the top of the hill. I don't know if you can see it off in the distance up there. Pretty neat that it's there. It's also, I believe, a Buffalo farm, and occasionally you'll see them just roaming the highway here, up here on one of these northern Colorado farms. What a nice landscape we have, for sure. And yep, so far pretty good. Just a little noisy in here, a little rough in here, but other than that, gotta be loving the Corvette. Definitely an interesting experience to drive. We are just going past our little wind check station, and you can see we have a wind heading to the south. Actually, right now we're heading east, and And what that means is we may have had a little bit of a headwind on the drive up north, and we might see a tailwind on the drive down south. Either way, the reason we do a loop style test is to negate any altitude and elevation changes, but also any wind differences. So we're just about 1 mile away from our turnaround point, exit 7 up here. The thing I like about this turnaround point is it's a free-flowing double left turn, so we can get off up here and we just make a left and another left, and we never have to cross traffic. It's really cool. Someone commented with the exact name of the interchange. I think it's pretty neat. Why don't you join us for the interchange? I think there should be more of these out there, especially if you have to make a lot of U-turns like me. So let's go here. This is the correct one, right, Tijmen? Yep. Okay. Just want to make sure. And off we go. We're gonna get off the throttle, cancel cruise control just there. We're gonna be coasting as much as possible. Of course, we're not trying to be efficient. We drive every car in the same exact way, or at least as close as we can get it. So we'll scrub the speed here. You can see here no one's coming to the right. We have a green light, so we can just go, which is so neat. And then we have a free left turn without a light. Don't even have to stop. It's like the dream efficiency test U-turn. I think this truck might be stuck over here. He's holding up a whole bunch of traffic. Yeah, I think he made a wrong turn. And here we go, back onto the highway. Gentle accelerations as usual. Then we'll check back with you at the gas station. Let's see what this thing can do in terms of efficiency. It feels efficient. So far, by the way, we're halfway, and our projected range is higher than when we left because we're driving the car more efficiently. No surprise, but still an interesting thing to see your estimated to empty increase as you drive instead of decrease. So now we're going to set the cruise at 72. There we go, and heading back to the gas station. We are exiting now at the gas station. I've just kicked off cruise control. We're at 509.1 miles. I think we left with 450.3. So we are just, like I said, right around 60 miles or so. And here we are, pulling off. And I got to say, the return trip at 72 miles an hour felt like we had a little bit of a tailwind. That's why we run them in reverse direction. Certainly was a little bit quieter from wind noise, which would lead me to believe there was less interference from headwind. So now we're going to pull off, go back to the same gas pump we were at, shut the car off immediately as soon as we're there so we don't have any wasted fuel idling, and we'll fill it back up to 100%, fill it back till it's full, do the 30-second little wait thing, and then we'll see how many gallons of fuel we have used on this trip and then extrapolate the data afterwards. Pretty exciting. All right, guys, we just finished up our loop. You have to apologize for all the noise here. It always is noisy. We drove 59.3 miles as we normally do. What we're gonna do now is fill the car up with the same fuel. The pump we use black, but it's all pretty much the same. Doesn't really matter for sure. And gotta say, Corvette looks really good. In case you're wondering, this one is about $85,000 sticker. So it's a lot of money. It's a maxed out Corvette. Let's get it going. All right, gonna fill it up. I'm gonna get the 30-second timer ready. Stopwatch, as soon as it clicks, just like before, we're gonna start the timer and see what it does. So far, let's take a look. We've already used 2 gallons, so, oh, not much. Starting the timer here. This might be really efficient. We'll have to see. Just depends on how much it'll take on the second go around here. Second click. Oh, this might be really efficient. Let's take a look. 2.2 gallons. Well, we'll go do the math outside of the wind. So we just drove 59.3 miles and we used let me just back up so I can actually see the exact number on it. That startup noise is pretty nice. Let's see, whoa, don't need any copyright. 2.286. Here's the official number. 25.9 MPG. Really not terrible. So 26 miles to the gallon, cruising at 70 mile per hour GPS. Whoa, in cold temperatures. And we even returned with a higher projected fuel level than we left with. Now it's of course saying 256 miles. But there you have it. Corvette not too inefficient on the highway. 2 reasons I think this helped, or actually let's just say 3 reasons. First off, pretty aerodynamic. Secondly, it switches to 4 cylinders when cruising, which is nice. And lastly, it has a really tall 8th gear on this dual clutch transmission and just lets it sit at about 1500 RPM cruising at 70. I think that's its real main benefit right there. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you like these quick 70 mile per hour efficiency tests, we do them for EVs and combustion vehicles. Make sure you subscribe. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.